Hello, everyone. Welcome to Beyond the Boundary on TO Sports. And today we have a power pack show as we build up to the first T20 international between India and England at the iconic Eden Gardens Cricket Stadium in Kolkata. And as always, we have a power pack panel led by K. Srinivas Rao, who joins us from Mumbai. We also have Gaurav Gupta, again joining us on this show. And straight from Bangalore, we have Manuja Veerappa, who's joining us and smiling as ever. So we have lots to look forward to, Manuja, Gaurav, and Srinivas. Let's start with you, Manuja. It's going to
Mhm.
be a very interesting series, five-match series. We're going to have a toss in exactly 26 minutes. What are some of the things that you are looking forward to in this particular series?
Shami, Shami, and more Shami. I mean, it really gives you so much of a positive, rather an indicator to what we can get out of this series in terms of our bowling attack for the Champions Trophy. He's coming back after 430 days, as it says. He hasn't played after the World Cup in international cricket, but it's very heartening to see the workload he's managed in domestic cricket. He's played both the Mushtaq Ali and the Vijay Hazare Trophy. He's fresh off. He's not rusty. I think the last match he played was on Jan 9th, which is about 2 weeks ago. So lots to look forward to in terms of Shami. But also, I think in terms of T20 cricket, the England team has come with a firecracker of a uh, team, and I'm really looking forward to Jacob Battle's performance. I mean, he's created such a stir across formats, especially in the back end of last year when he really took international cricket by storm.
Gaurav, you nowadays you have a lot to track with injuries, doctors, physios as well. With Shami first, now Bumrah, Kuldeep in between. Are you feeling a bit emotional now today, seeing Shami back on the field? Because one part of the story is over. Now the other part is Bumrah. So at least one part of the story is over for you.
Yeah, Chandresh, good evening to all of you. This just keeps on happening here. ये injured हो गया, वो injured हो गया. Just it's a never-ending story, and then you're chasing your sources. कब fit होगा, कब आएगा? Sometimes you get it wrong, sometimes you get it right. So it's a vicious game which keeps on going, and there's no end in sight. I mean, Shami obviously is a good development coming back. I don't know if he's going to play all the six matches that will be there. What eight matches that will be there in the next few days. I think they will rotate him beyond a point because they would want him to be fit and firing for the Champions Trophy, especially if mostly Bumrah is not around. Again, there's a big if to it, but it doesn't look like he's going to be around. So I think Shami's return is a massive boost to the Indian team, considering the amount of time he spent out of the game, which was again in the end it became a bit mysterious because even the Indian team's captain got sick and tired of giving statements about him and said कि भाई NCA जरा कुछ statement issue करो, just end this for once and for all. So थोड़ा सा उधर वो है मतलब a bit of gray area है because समझ नहीं आया मतलब he could not bowl a single ball in the BGT, but now he's been picked rapidly one series after the other. So I think clearly the idea is, Ajit Agarkar said in the press conference here in Mumbai, the idea is that he was not fit for red ball cricket but for white ball cricket. But I still think maybe they could have taken a chance with him in BGT. Although again, the medical team of the BCCI knows best in terms of workload. But so good to have him back here. Generally, it's a good squad. It's a good, nice mix, and looking forward to the series.
I think most of the Indian players spend more time in Bangalore than in any other part of the country nowadays. Uh, Before the months of March, from March to May, they are all over the country. But before March, they are always in Bangalore, and it always strategically happens between December and February. Tanuja, am I right in saying that?
Absolutely. That's also the heart of the domestic season in India. So there was a running joke during one of the test Ranji Trophy matches where if you look at the other side towards the National Cricket Academy, you could actually field 11 from there. That's the
Absolutely,
number of
absolutely.
people who will be watching these matches. And I think this season, Shami's also watched quite a few matches and played in Bangalore. It I think, worked to his favor that he was in rehab, and the knockouts happened in Bangalore, so he got to get back into the groove here.
But coming back to the squad, India, the T20 squad that Krishna has prepared for this particular series, India's T20 squad appears to be on a separate path altogether. It's on a different path. It's doing quite well. They've got all rounders. They've got flexibility in the batting. They've got power in the batting. It's something that we have been yearning for in our T20 squad, and it so happens right after India won the T20 World Cup. It was almost as if India was waiting to win the T20 World Cup to achieve that balance.
Well, yes, I think hopefully the selectors have got this right, that they sort of make a completely different T20 squad compared to the other formats, the squads for the other formats. Although I thought they deviated from that in the World Cup, they actually got Rohit and Virat back after the one committee decided कि भैया we need to move beyond them and sort of field as many youngsters as possible. But I think in this bilateral series definitely ये हो गया कि you try as many youngsters as possible and have people who are sort of do not hold back, and I think that is an effect of the Surya Kumar Yadav VG combined. And then you see players like Sanju Samson, Abhishek Sharma. I'm a bit surprised that he gets all 5 games without even a backup opener being there. But I think the idea is कि मतलब give him a free hand here and give him the license and the confidence कि भाई तुम ऐसा नहीं कि drop कर दिए जाओगे आप एक दो मैच के बाद में. You have a full series to prove yourself. So I think
Absolutely.
that's the idea there.
We have Srinivas also joining us. Srinivas, thanks a lot for joining us. Looking at the squad today, one name that everybody is looking forward to, Srinivas, is Mohammed Shami. Is there any other name from this squad that you're looking forward to seeing in this, performing for India in this T20 series?
Chandresh, I just lost the last line. Can you just?
I said everybody's talking about Mohammed Shami in the lead up to this series. Is there any other name apart from Shami that you are looking forward to from this particular setup?
Well, it's a brand new start. I mean, two heavyweights are not part of the T20 squad, right? So this is technically almost like the beginning of a new chapter. Whatever we go on to do from here, Chandresh, when it comes to bilateral, I'm sure you and me have, kind of discussed this one particular point at length, which I'm going to bring up. How exactly relevant is a random T20 bilateral in today's times, right? It's not like we're going to use this T20 match or this series if for any reason whatsoever to pick a squad, let's say for an ICC tournament going forward or anything for that matter. Even the domestic tournaments like a Mushtaq Ali that we play, it has no real relevance in terms of what India is going to do. It's no indicator. Like probably 7, 8, 10 years ago, any random ODI bilateral that India would play would have some significance in terms of how the team management or the selectors or the coach would, kind of approach it with a picture in mind, right? I think we are well past that practice, and I would rather that we, as collectively as a team, India collectively the management looks at this in terms of an experimental process between now and whenever over the next 6 months, 8 months, 1 year. Try and carve a vision out of this to try and understand what works, what doesn't work. Now, I professionally, I learned this, and it's. I realize how important this is, and this can be in almost every walk of life. When you experiment with something new, there are two possibilities. One is it will work. One is it will not work. Right? If it works, well and good for India, for the players, for everyone. Now, if it doesn't work, the important thing is to understand. The trick is how soon can you understand that this is not going to work. That much time you save and you move on. So now you have a squad of 15 in front of us, right? Mohammed Shami is a great bowler. You know it, I know it. All of us who have followed cricket understand that Mohammed Shami is a priceless asset to have. Now you are going to play a T20 World Cup in 2026. How soon is it going to take you to realize that is Mohammed Shami going to be part of your 2026 setup or not? And if not, then what kind of a provision do you have in place to replace him suddenly when he's not part of your team? So today he's the swear. Fair enough. I mean, there is no question that to me, an available and a fit Mohammed Shami is the second biggest asset in India's pace attack after Jasprit Bumrah. And, not until too long ago, he was the most prized assets. And Jasprit Bumrah has obviously taken over that space. But having said that, how soon can we come to the realization that a Shami will work for us going forward or will not work for us going forward? The amount of time that we can save in reaching that conclusion is what is most precious. And I think going forward, we need to use series like this and the ones that are going to follow to come to these certainties. And the more certain we become in terms of how we want to approach our T20 cricket, I think that will allow us to move in the right direction.
Just to build on that, do you think BCCI missed a trick by not making this a 5-match one-day series, considering we have a Champions Trophy coming up, and just a 3-match T20 series? Wouldn't that have been better?
Well, I mean, I would never, if it came to, kind of discussing whether BCCI does intelligent things, I guess we would rather not talk about it. Intelligence and BCCI don't really always go along together. You could be playing a one-day series, and Indian team could you could be facing a T20 World Cup, and probably we would be playing ODIs the run up to it, or vice versa, and we are capable of everything. And the unfortunate thing is, I personally happen to know people who take these intelligent calls, and I admire them. I mean, for actually, to tell you the truth, I really admire them. Secretly, I'm a secret admirer of how they go about it.
Manoja, do you share the admiration? Because in the lead up to the T20 World Cup, India is playing roughly about 28 T20 internationals, including an Asia Cup, which is probably in India. But in the lead up to the Champions Trophy, India curiously played only 6 one-day internationals. So, are you able to make sense of it?
I've never been able to wrap my head around any of this. Even when the series was announced, I thought, okay, you have a token T20, get in your crowds, make in some moolah. But the last 5 ODIs would have really been a good build-up into going into the Champions Trophy, considering we played so much of red ball cricket in the last. See, because at the end of the day, even this team, how many of them are going into Champions Trophy is one factor. Okay, so barring I think a bunch of the bowlers. So if you were testing, and it's not that this was decided overnight and Champions Trophy was decided overnight. The FTP is so elaborate any which ways. To have a 5 ODI in a series and a 320 before that would have been ideal. But then ideal situations don't necessarily happen in Indian cricket.
Absolutely, because next year, right in the build up to the T20 World Cup, India plays 3 ODIs, 5 T20s against New Zealand. So that
Yes.
they've got right. Probably they may not have got right. Gaurav, considering all that, considering what Srini said, considering what we know of the squad, what exactly is India hoping to get out of this series except a win to sort of boost the morale of fans and players or the system itself?
I think the idea behind the T20 series is certainly because all the staging centers, I think, and the telecaster. Let's not forget GeoStar. I think they are all sort of interested in a T20 series rather than an ODI series. ODI का जो demand है वो बहुत नीचे गिर गया चंदेश. Beyond World Cups and I don't know, even the beyond World Cups and say a Champions Trophy kind of a tournament. I think ODI का generally demand बहुत नीचे चला गया in terms of both the telecaster wanting it for the TRPs and for the staging association, because they get to earn a lot of sort of get money, I think, and a lot of traction if they're hosting a T20 match compared to an ODI. ODI chance की बात है, if it's an India Australia ODI, go to big teams, maybe in India England ODI also, the crowds will come. But an India Sri Lanka ODI may not even see half the stadium full in a city like Mumbai at times, unless a World Cup game or something. So I think that was the idea. Baki to by and large, I think India have a few objectives to fulfill. I mean, obviously Shami's return to action will be closely watched. Surya Kumar Yadav needs some runs under his belt. Last 6 months have been a bit dry for him. Last few months. Then Sanju Samson needs to keep going in this form and sort of put behind all that controversy with KCA behind his back. Abhishek Sharma needs to prove himself. Individually, a lot of players do need to prove themselves. Tilak Verma is going great guns in this format, and I think if he keeps batting like that in this format, then he's making a case for himself in the other two formats, especially the ODI format as well. And there's of course Nitish Kumar Reddy, who's had such a brilliant tour of Australia. So he'll be looking to sort of convert this into another sizzling T20 show, so that he's around in case there are any injuries in the Champions Trophy anyone, and sort of offer himself as a solid backup to Hardik Pandya. Rest, so I think the other interesting selection for me was Dhruv Jurel as a second wicket keeper, to Sanju, instead of say Rishabh Pant or somebody. So I don't know if Dhruv gets a game somewhere down the line, then he also has a lot of things to sort of an opportunity to cement his place. Harshit Rana को कहा गया है कि वो गौतम गंभीर से कहा गया, कि दिख ही रहा है कि गौतम गंभीर से के खास वो है, so he needs to prove that backing right and sort of come good and at some stage, because he's also been picked in the ODI against England, and I think there is some kind of a controversy around his selection, if I may use the word, considering that his of his KKR background and all that. So all in all, I think lots of things to look forward to in this series. And England, of course, is an exciting team and a formidable T20 team at that.
There's a question for you from a fan subscriber. Priyanshu is asking, the Mumbai versus Meghalaya Ranji Trophy game supposed to start from 30th. Where is it going to be played? And will Rohit, Jaiswal, everybody play that?
I doubt. I really doubt that Rohit and Jaiswal will play that game. I think the odd Ranji Trophy match that they will be playing from tomorrow will be it, and then they will be resting before they dive into the ODI series. I think वो मैच सिर्फ विराट कोहली और केएल राहुल खेलेंगे, क्योंकि उनका अभी तक रणजी ट्रॉफी में अटेंडेंस नहीं लगा है. So I think this match will be it for them for this season's Ranji Trophy, because they need to be fresh for the ODIs and the Champions Trophy going forward. Last thing we say will want is somebody picking up an injury in this whole horde to play Ranji Trophy, which has never happened before. So I think 30th match है, and मेघालय के against, मतलब come on, क्या अचीव कर लेंगे रोहित शर्मा? अगर ट्रिपल हेड भी मार देंगे मेघालय के अगेंस्ट, कुछ नहीं. So I really think, and that match will be at BKC. So it is a designated Ranji Trophy venue. I don't know why there is so much angst against it, because Wankhede is supposed to host a T20 match on February 2nd. So how can it suddenly host a Ranji Trophy match? And it just hosted a big 50th anniversary function on 19th. So and generally BKC is middle of the city, designated Ranji Trophy venue. Suddenly Rohit Sharma gets up and decides to play that match. Doesn't mean that you have it in a like a World Cup final kind of atmosphere in a stadium. It's the MCA's own ground. Fair enough. I mean, it's a Ranji Trophy match at the end of it. It's not like there's a one-day or T20 match happening and people are not getting to watch Rohit. And the match will be live streamed on Jio Cinema, I think.
So Srini, not just the T20 series between India and England, the ODI series, but suddenly everybody is now interested in Ranji Trophy, and everybody is trying to find out where Virat is going to play, where KL is going to play. I'm sure Manuja will be busy with that Ranji Trophy match that Karnataka will play. What do you make of this sudden interest around India's domestic cricket? Will this last, or will this taper off in your view?
Well, to put this in perspective, our colleague in Times of India.com, Mr. Sahil Malhotra, he called up a state association. I won't name the state association of the player. He called up a state association a couple of days ago to inquire about an India star, whether he was going to play Ranji Trophy or not. Until then, neither the state association knew nor the player had communicated anything. Suddenly, this call went. And Sahil said, okay, then my story is, he told the state association guys, okay, then my story is that simple. Left doesn't know what right is doing. Nobody knows. Neither the player knows whether he wants to play, neither the state association. Suddenly, in 1 hour, he gets a call from the state association saying, Sahil, my friend, we just got to hear from the player. And, he's actually going to come and meet us tomorrow and tell us about his Ranji Trophy plans. So why can't you hold the story for one day? We'll talk about it again tomorrow. So there you go. It's basically, it's like a herd mentality at play. I don't know how exactly. I mean, Gaurav is right. What exactly is Rohit Sharma going to accomplish in that Ranji Trophy match, right? I mean, if you had to play recent red ball cricket, you should have gone and done this, in the Dilip Trophy. Where the timing was far better. So I really don't understand what purpose does it solve. 1 odd match. You're coming from a test series, playing a 4-day game while the T20 is on, and then preparing for an ODI game. After which it is IPL, everything will be forgotten. I just don't. You see the madness. I mean, one thing that doesn't connect to the beauty is nothing in a chain of sequence of events. Not one thing connects to the other. It's like all haphazard, you know. And obviously, it is because suddenly you lost the Australia series. It was an embarrassment after starting the series on the note that you did. You went on to lose it. You come back, hell breaks loose. It's now obviously all out that the coach and the captain don't get along with each other. Whatever their problems are, I mean, it has to be stupid problems, right? Because nothing can be beyond the Indian team, right? I mean, whoever you are whether you're Rohit Sharma or whether you're Gautam Gambhir, how does it matter? It is Indian cricket that matters, right? So if you can't put your differences aside, you continue to fight, and it takes a toll on the team, and then you do these things like playing Ranji Trophy at a time when it doesn't make sense, but then आप सडनली प्रैक्टिस में वीडियो विजुअल ग्रैब आ रहा है आपको आप प्रैक्टिस में दौड़ रहे हो अरे भाई साल भर दौड़ लेते तो ये हालत होती नहीं ना तो the problem is that I mean you're doing things for the camera you sit in a press conference I mean you sit in a press conference and talk about अभी तो सब मुझे ही देखना पड़ेगा वो तो सब मेरे को ही बोल रहे हैं कौन बोल रहे हैं तेरे को कोई कुछ नहीं बोल रहा है तू बैठा है इधर तेरे को कोई कुछ नहीं बोल रहा तू आराम से you figure out what your next 6 months is going to be उसके लिए बैठे हैं लोग करने के लिए तो जय शाह या बीसीसीआई में वो जो नया सेक्रेटरी है देवजीत सिंह या कोई किसी को कुछ नहीं बोल रहा कोई किसी को कुछ नहीं बोल रहा it's about how you are going on building this narrative uh, which is a senseless narrative it doesn't really make any sense I can say a lot of things but I just want to stay politically correct here it's a lot of people watch the show so I really want to be there are a lot of things that are going on behind the scenes which is ridiculous which is sad which is absolutely sad and it's unfortunate I mean and we have to live with it we don't have a choice because Indian cricket has brought this upon itself Indian cricket needn't have brought this upon itself. We are victims of something that we have brought upon our head. We have no choice but to live with it. And that's all. So, if you're asking me, coming back to the basic question you're asking me, nothing of what is happening makes sense to me. Absolutely not.
Manuja, having heard what Srini said, the whole thing is a mess. So, in that sense, do you think Gautam feels more happy being around a T20 squad led by Surya Kumar Yadav because all our younger players, younger squad, the captain is somebody who's played under him, so he's looking up to him. Unlike the Test and ODI squad, we have the Dhurandhars, to use a Hindi word. So, do you think that Gigi, as in not our Gigi, but that Gigi who's in Kolkata right now, is feeling more at home with the T20 squad because all are younger boys in that setup?
Yeah. So, Janesh, before I answer your question, I'll just add to what Srini said about, having played the Dilip Trophy. They moved heaven and earth to accommodate four India players who had shown interest in playing it before the BGT. They moved one game from Anantapur to Bangalore, so logistics were taken care of, live coverage was taken care of. In the end, none of them turned up. So if you really wanted to play, that was where you had to play. Coming to Gigi, I think starting the series at Calcutta, you're feeling at home. The other thing is you're managing players, you're not exactly managing egos. I think here there barely one or two egos that needs to be managed in this team, but there you're firefighting a lot of things because there are people to question you in that, especially in your test squad. You have people who can question the captain, the coach, who can stand up for themselves or against him. There the dressing room dynamics entirely changes with this squad. A lot of them in the squad are those who will be looking to impress Gambhir, who want to further their case in the other formats of the game, to be able to push their case for more tournaments. So it's clearly here Gautam Gambhir has the upper hand in the squad.
So, Gigi, in that sense, white ball bilateral cricket for India has almost become like it is more a India A setup which always plays the white ball. And the India A per se plays only red ball cricket when it is playing at home or away. So, white ball has basically become India A because you're always trying out new combination in T20 cricket and in ODI cricket. So, in that sense, it's a India A kind of a situation now for Gautam Gambhir with this lineup.
It's become a stage to reward all your IPL performers, basically. All the guys who are doing well in the IPL. If somebody scores, like Karan has scored 752 runs in Vijay Hazare, then he can sit and be, sort of be ignored conveniently. But those who do well in the IPL, they will be rewarded with these bilateral series, berths is what I feel. But then they do throw up some interesting players, and Nitish Kumar Reddy is one of them. He got a chance in the series against Bangladesh last season, and so on and so forth. So there are players. I mean, Varun Chakravarti made a brilliant comeback against Bangladesh last year and has emerged as a solid option going forward till 26. And there I would credit Gigi for that. उसको बहुत गाली पड़ रही है और to some extent the criticism against his name is pretty much justified. Some of the things that have gone wrong in Indian cricket, and I still can't understand. मतलब उनके manager अभी भी सब जगह जा रहे हैं, ये वो ठीक है, the protocols are in place, but still this whole need to have all these things has emerged because somewhere I don't think he's in control of the dressing room, which he wants desperately, and I think that is what has been missing, and perhaps the addition of Shitanshu Kotak as the batting coach also doesn't reflect well on the existing staff that are there, that is there. And I hope Shitanshu Bhai is able to add value to the very hardworking guy, and somebody who's been in the coaching setup for a long while with India A and all that.
But
So
Kotak for a T20 series, how well does that sit?
I think he's there for good. I think as much as I understand, he's there for good. I think they will stick to him. I was told somebody told me only for white ball, but I think he will be going to England as well. And the other thing that Shini was talking about, there's this whole sudden urge for everybody to play in the Ranji Trophy is also because what I have learned is that the players have been clearly told that if you want to be selected for the England tour, please do turn out in Ranji Trophy. For to be considered for red ball for future red ball tours, and the immediate red ball tour is England. So I think that is why you see a Virat Kohli also suddenly turning up and saying, "Okay, sir, कोई बात नहीं, 30th का मैच तो मैं खेलूंगा ही, जरा यहाँ पे अपना घर प्रवेश कर लेता हूँ अलीबाग में." So I think that has been the major reason why everybody is at least ensuring कि एक मैच खेल लिया जाए, so that कल को it doesn't go against us. And an example we have seen that in Sanju Samson's case, wherein he did not figure in the Vijay Hazare Trophy, was practicing in Dubai for the T20s, and then suddenly that went against him. So I mean, this is the scene, but yeah, bilaterals do throw up T20 bilaterals. They do throw up some exciting options going forward.
So you're saying Virat Kohli's next 10 is better now?
Possibly, I think definitely after a few this thing from the, I wish the board had cracked this whip long back. Yeah, I mean at least last year September, when the whole as Shini said, that whole the thing was going around domestic cricket, and that was the time when the board should have insisted on both Virat and Rohit, especially Virat, because he had missed the 5-test series last year against England and had hardly played anything. At least you will have to play the Duleep Trophy to going into the season, because you need to be in the groove instead of straight away coming into the tests, and it's not like he was injured or something. So I think that is where the BCCI missed a trick, and then it's sort of course correction, I think now, which is again a case of too little too late. It's more for, I think, optics than anything else.
Okay, we have news from Kolkata rather. Eden Gardens, India has won the toss and have elected to bowl. And not surprisingly, the Indian team captain Surya Kumar Yadav has spoken about due. And Shami is not playing.
Oh,
so
Lord.
Shami is not playing. You have Shami, Washington and Harshit Rana are not playing. Srini, we have built up so much to this match, spoken about Shami. It's almost as if they have a copy of our run order, and Surya Kumar Yadav has said, okay, fine, TOI Sports is discussing it, we'll do something different.
Really, I mean, when the day when he was selected, somebody from BCCI called me that when he was selected in the squad, last week selection, somebody from BCCI called me like, Shami fit hai? तो मैंने कहा looks like he's in the, no actually I think before before the selection I think it was Gaurav Gupta's story in the Times of India where he wrote about I think Gaurav it was you right who wrote about Shami is fit and available for selection right.
Yeah. I did write that in the preview selection preview. I did write that. Yeah.
So somebody read the Times of India story and was casually talking to me like, "Are Mohammed Shami fit?" So I said, "Looks like he's fit." तो इसको सिडनी क्यों नहीं भेजे यू नो अगर ये फिट था तो इसको सिडनी क्यों नहीं भेजे एंड अगर वो
रेड
फिट
बॉल
है
फिटनेस नहीं था. As per Mr. Ajit Agarkar, red ball fitness नहीं था, white ball fitness था. The ball
right,
specific fitness.
he was playing domestic cricket. He was back to playing domestic. I mean, are you saying that he's fit to play Ranji Trophy or whatever the sub one particular tournament, but not fit to play the other tournament? I really don't know how these things work. Now you've selected him with all this fanfare. पूरी ट्विटर रो रही है कि शमी है जो शमी है आधी ट्विटर रो रही है कि शमी को बिठाते सिराज को खिलाते अभी इसको पिक करते हो खिलाते भी नहीं हो भगवान जाने क्या सोच रहे हैं. As I said, it's going to be a great competition between both sides. Oh, so what he's meaning is even England is going to do some stupid things. Is that what he's saying?
Yeah, I think he's,
You know,
and also Harshit is also not playing. So, Gigi, your talk about Harshit being in the good books of that Gigi hasn't gone down well. Even that has not happened. So, something they are listening to us and taking calls, I suppose.
नहीं, हर्षित का तो खैर थी. Harshit was always an outside selection in terms of 11. I meant in the squad. Not in the 11. 11 में तो obviously because there is a lot of options in terms of pace bowling options. So not a
Which
lot.
means India is
But
going in only with one regular pace bowler, Manuja, for this T20 international. That is Arshdeep. You'll have Hardik sharing the new ball with Arshdeep, and obviously that also means that Nitish Kumar Reddy is playing this match. On the one hand, you say there is a possibility of due, and on the other hand, you drop the
Yes.
two pacers out of the lineup. So you're, matlab, this concept of having a long batting lineup is being stretched a bit too far, I suppose.
This is as long as it can get. I mean, just look at it. Sanju, Abhishek Sharma, Tilak Verma, Sky, Hardik, Rinku, Nitish. So you have Aksar and
Varun. Varun and
Bishnoi as
Bishnoi.
the two spinners then.
Yeah.
Bishnoi. Three spinners,
Yeah.
two
And Arshdeep.
pacers.
Yeah.
One specialist
Aksar,
pacer.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Then
One
you have
specialist pacer.
the two bowling, the pace all-rounders.
Yes.
Beats me.
so Akshay and
Really
Varun
beats
are
me.
your
Especially
spin options, right?
Aksar, Varun, and Bishnoi. Three spin
And
options.
Vishnu, yeah.
Bishnoi.
Sorry, I
Three.
forgot. Yeah. So you got three spinners. They are three
Bishnoi, I
bandits.
still think because I think England is also right-hand heavy there. So I still understand that. But not to go with either Shami or Harshit as your second bowler makes no second pacer makes no sense to me.
Absolutely. And also, Srini, when you look at the lineup, you also have people like Abhishek who can ball an over. You've got Tilak Verma who's keen to ball, but he's not being given a ball. Surya Kumar Yadav won a T20 series last year in Sri Lanka with his bowling. If you remember that super over, the last over, he bowled a fantastic over. It was, I don't know what Sri Lankan batters were doing in that last over. Surya Kumar Yadav was bowling and he won a match for India, defending a very small score in that final over. So they've got plenty of bowling options. But is that necessarily wicket-taking option? I don't know. Srini, what's your take?
I don't know if it's in T20. I really don't look at this whole idea of a wicket-taking option. I mean, it doesn't really make any sense as long as you know what your strengths are, your weaknesses are. You can play to your strengths and be economical. I mean, that's good enough. Now that's not the point. The bigger thing is, see, let's look at this 11 for example. Okay, apropos of today's game, regardless of today's game. Now, in this 11, now India has a problem of plenty from a 11 players perspective. India right now has a very healthy problem of plenty. Okay, this is a good thing. Now look at the openers, for example. You have a Sanju Samson and Abhishek Sharma here. Then you have a Yashasvi, you have a Shubman, you have a Ruturaj, you have a Nishan Kishan. You have all these options, obviously, who are all vying for the opener slot. So you literally have 5 to 6 very healthy opening options, of which you can only use two in a game. Likewise, from an all-rounder perspective, be it from an all-rounder perspective, be it from a kind of tailender perspective, you have multiple options. You have a Washington Sundar who can bat. You have an Akshar Patel who's shown the potential to kind of be very useful on the field as a fielder, as a bowler, as a as a run maker. Now the question is, how much of this 11 can you pack with multi-utility cricketers who make it to the squad based on form, not on reputation. I have said this and I'll repeat this. T20, while it remains cricket, is kind of is that one format where form is the only permanent thing. Class is temporary. Class really doesn't matter. You can be a Sachin Tendulkar. I say this: you can be a Sachin Tendulkar or a Virat Kohli, or the great Don Bradman. In this format, it doesn't matter. You can be an Abhishek Sharma, and still it could be your day, because this is where kind of the only method is the mad method. Madness is the only method, right? And in that, how much can you pack? So you talked about Philip and the idea that he can bowl, and is there enough space, or has the team management really wrapped its head around Tilak Verma, and how exactly do they want to use him going forward? I think that's where these kind of bilaterals need to be used. If you're going to have these bilaterals, my thing is experiment as much as you can. Use these bilaterals. I don't care if at the end of the day today at 11 o'clock at night, whether India wins this game or loses this. But if you've made Tilak Verma bowl 4 overs, if you've kind of brought let's say an Akshar Patel to open with Varun Chakravarti. I'm just saying, if you brought a Varun Chakravarti and Akshar Patel to open the innings, if you probably elevated Rinku Singh to number 4 and see what kind of an impetus. For me, if you have experimented enough and if you have taken notes from what happened, that is good enough. That is absolutely good enough for me. You should, as long as you know what you're doing and as long as there is a path that you're following. If your whole thing is कि आज इसको खिला लेते हैं, आज का जैसे तैसे मैच जीत जाते हैं, फिर अगला मैच का देखेंगे, हम सोचेंगे नेक्स्ट सीरीज में कि शमी को लेना है नहीं, मतलब those things don't make any sense. So you got to use this as an experimental platform. Now the funny thing is, Chandra, nobody will remember this series once the IPL starts. It's not like if an Abhishek Sharma scores is really kind of sets this series apart. Will you still judge him for what he does in those 14 matches in the IPL, right? I mean, that's how we have. What is it that we are not able to understand here? There's no rocket science. IPL is the only domestic sea tournament basis which we are picking our T20 talent. No, sorry, let me correct that. I say IPL is the only tournament basis which we are picking any talent, not just T20. Even Test cricketers are being picked, from IPL. तो IPL में अभी आप select करना ही है तो ये series क्या मतलब है? At least from Gautam Gambhir's perspective, if we can use this to kind of try and experiment, I think I really won't. I really won't give this any more importance than that.
Manuja,
It's not like, sorry, I'll just complete it. It's not like आपके tournament, this is something where an ICC needs to consider. It's not like ये tournament India जीतेगा या हारेगा basis which आप 2026 का T20 World Cup खेलोगे या कौन से group में आओगे या आपका ranking क्या होगा. It's not like it's going to decide anything. At least in Test cricket, I understand PGT was important to be won because it would have helped you qualify for World Test Championship final. It's not like random series like these are going to come to make any difference, right? In the ODI or the T20. That's it.
Manuja, considering what Srini said, this lineup that India has, it's completely in contrast to what England have picked. They have picked a pace-heavy lineup. India has picked
Yes.
a spin-heavy lineup, and India has spoken about dew. So, in that sense, does it add up for you?
The Indian perspective doesn't add up, but for the England perspective, it really adds up for me. Atkinson, Jofra Archer, Mark Wood, and you have Jamie Orton, who's also a pace. This thing is not a medium pacer; he's a pacer. So, having gone, but they also have good. Their strength is the all-rounders. You have a right mix of spin. In terms of bowling, I think England have got it right.
Okay. Gigi, one final round of thoughts from all of you, starting with you, Gigi. What sort of score will India be comfortable chasing, considering that there is possibility of due later, and can India get off to a winning start?
आई थिंक 180 तो हो ही जाना चाहिए अगर ड्यू का फैक्टर है मतलब जनरली फ्लैट विकेट है T20 है तो मतलब 170 वन आई थिंक वो रेंज में तो कहीं नहीं गया आई थिंक एंड इंडिया बैटिंग सेकंड राइट
Yeah.
India batting second so I think then they are the favorites going into this match because I mean T20 generally if you bat second and if you have a good strong batting lineup so for all their experiments that they have done and maybe Shami has had some last minute niggle or something I think the batting still looks formidable. The batting still looks good. So I think we should be good to chase anything. Yeah. I mean, as long as we restrict them to something manageable, unless the likes of Jacob Ethel and Ben Duckett and these guys, the Indians, John Butler, they go berserk. If we sort of manage to restrict them to 170, 180, I think we should be able to chase it.
Srini, your
Especially
thought,
considering the due factor as well.
your thoughts? What's a manageable total for India, and can they chase it down?
Chitya, I've already said this. IPL in T20 still 200 plus is a psychological target. 199 is a chaseable target, but 201 is not kind of a thing. So it's again a very psychological thing. That said, you know, obviously, I mean, in conditions like you won the toss, kind of so not fielding second and all of this should work in your favor. Plus, England come in first game in the series. India obviously should be more comfortable playing at home than to in a ground like Eden Gardens, etc., etc., etc. Having said that, yes, this is in India's favor. As long as it's not 200 plus, we should be able to win this comfortably. And having said that, I'll still say what I kind of want to say again and again and again. To me, it won't matter whether we win this game or lose this game. To me, it will matter if we tick the right boxes.
Manuja, final thoughts with you on what do you see a good
I would
score
be
for India to chase?
disappointed if England don't score 200. I mean, the kind of explosive lineup they have, I really disappointed they don't score 200. It should be a batsman's game. We also have that explosive batting lineup. Chasing down 200, I think, is not like a mountain to climb for India. Yeah, that's
Interesting.
it.
So all three panelists agree that India has the firepower to chase it down. We'll have to wind up now because our good friend Gigi has to sleep early, as he has to get up early and go to the ground to watch Rohit Sharma featuring in a Ranji Trophy match after nearly 10 years. He's already posted photographs of the new seating arrangement at the BKC ground. So I'm sure that Gigi is completely looking forward to this contest. Gigi, just for you, we're winding up early. Srini, Manuja, thanks a lot, and to all the viewers, please keep logging on to TOI Sports. Keep liking, sharing, subscribing, and don't forget कि notification की घंटी बजाती रहनी चाहिए आपको. Please keep supporting us. All three of you, please take care of yourself. We'll be back again tomorrow to review what happened in this match between India and England. Looking forward to a cracking contest. Thanks a lot, three of you, and thanks a lot to everybody watching us. Good night, goodbye, and God bless.
Bye, guys.